Hello. You are watching the pre-production of the Xander Gibb show. Forgot who I was for a second, or what we were doing. Tonight's episode of the Alejandro Gibb show. That's Xander Gibb to you guys. Here we go. We're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. And we are live in various other places too. We're just getting ready. My computer is very slow, which is rather alarming because it's a good internet connection and good everything else. Maybe the powers that be are monitoring. But do we mind? No, we do not. Because we are going to put the truth out there, whether they like it or not. What's that song from? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, we have to share the YouTube link. For those of you out there that like to watch this show on YouTube. Yeah, what is that song? I don't care what the people say. I don't care what the people do. I can do what I want to do, whether they like it or not. No, doesn't ring any bells. Oh, I know who it is. We're just getting ready to go live to the nation, to the internation, for the Xander Gibb show. I did what I always do. I closed the page too early. But we're doing okay for time. I can't hold it, Captain. Hi, Dave. Hope you're good. Welcome to the live feed. You are the early bird. We'll be getting started very soon when we finish sharing. Because sharing is caring. And feel free to share the show if you are watching. Not share as in S-H-A-R-E, not share as in whoa. If I could turn back time. Because there's a difference apparently. There we go. We just got to share to some places. Some of the pages we are involved with on Facebook. Now that's weird. Okay. Please feel free to click that share button. Here we go. Gotta do it like this. Because apparently doesn't look good if I'm looking down. Powdered Wig Society, Catherine Daigle, Trump, political debate, reopen the UK, Conservative Patriots, basket of deplorables, it's okay to be white. Am I allowed to say that? Conservative people, grassroots conservative, blah, 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 blah. No, not stuff for sale anywhere particular. Trump groups, yes. Deplorables. We are the people. We are the people. We are the children. So pleased that Roger Stone, shared it in a group that I shouldn't, which might get me into trouble. But I will have to see if I can go and oh, I shared it into two groups that I shouldn't. We are nearly there. We will be getting started very soon. That'll teach me not to concentrate. We are nearly there. We are there. So a quick look on the live feed before we get the show started. He says, let's get rid of that. Hello to everyone on the live feed. Apparently, Janie says I'm funny. Good evening to all. Good evening to everyone who's on the live feed. Dave says, gather around, conservative kitties. It's the Xander Gibb Show on the Great American Nation Group. Hello to Carla. We will be coming and saying hello to all of you individually. But for now, we're going to go into the opening titles for the Xander Gibb Show. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To me this time around, things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello, and welcome to today's edition of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. It's not my mother's basement, before you ask. Bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. I'm Xander Gibb, and on today's edition, I get on my soapbox and give you the chance to get on yours too in our phone-in. We break down today's hottest topics. In part 2, Peter Boykin from Go Right News drops by. You can have your say in the live feed below. And as we go along, I will be sharing your comments, so try and keep them as clean as possible. You can follow me on social media, and you can check me out at xandergibb.com. Oh, yes, sirree. Don't forget about our drinking game. Every time we say the phrase, every time I say the phrase, oh yes, sirree, or we talk about Goat Lives Matter, you can take a swig of whatever is your favorite tipple. We're just going to go backwards. Here we go. We're going to say hello to everybody in the live feed. Hello to Dave. Hello to Carla. Hello to Janie. Hello to, who else is there? Hello to my Gina, welcome to the show. Hello to chat, welcome to the show. Hello to everyone that's actually watching but not in the live feed. You are so welcome. Who else is still reeling from the fact that the president commuted, having so much problems with Facebook tonight, that the president commuted Roger Stone's sentence at the weekend. We're going to be talking about that later on, because a lot of people are not happy about it. But what do we say to them? I have a message for all of those people that have a problem with the fact that Roger Stone was pardoned. Well, not pardoned, his sentence was commuted. And I'm sure you guys out there actually agree with me. I'm just removing a. Oh, please. Why is Facebook so bad? Is anybody else having a problem with Facebook? It's really kind of messing up tonight. But I'm hoping that I will be able to do what I need to do. Just deleting a post. Because when you share a post into a group that you shouldn't, you actually get like hate mail. I've had death threats because of it. I don't know about you, but it seems a little concerning, to say the least. So there we go. That's us sorted. Welcome to today's show. Let's just go backwards a little so I can see some of the comments. Everybody's saying hello to Roger. Welcome to the show. You got to share pretty easy tonight. I got to share pretty easy, but it was a little too easy for me, Chip, because I was ending up with some problems with oversharing, sharing to groups that I shouldn't be sharing in. But that's okay, because I will just go back and delete it later. Yeah, as I said, there's so much going on tonight. Real Donald Trump has real Donald Trump. That's because it was part of a tweet. President Donald Trump has denied Minnesota's disaster request to repair $500,000 in riots. The governors and mayors ordered police to stand down and watch their cities burn. They shouldn't be getting a penny in taxpayer aid. What do you think about that? I think that those elected officials that have said nothing and just stood by and let their cities and towns be destroyed, that they shouldn't get a penny. They should have to deal with it from the budget. And don't tell me that it's sad for those people that that weren't involved. That's what happens. We're a community. So when people in our community do things that are not right or unfair, we all suffer from them. But why should this Minnesota woman, whose name escapes me, Gretchen Hitler, why should she get a penny, or any of these states for that matter? I think the thing that is most concerning about all of this is that they have the audacity to ask for it. Because the next thing is that this will be the next thing with regards to de Blasio, that he will be saying, oh, you can't leave us out. You can't leave us out of... it's not letting me do what I want to do. You can't leave us out of the funding because, we deserve it. But, the way I see it, if you've let people tear down your city or town, then why should you get a penny? London's seen a weekend filled with crime, with a number of stabbings as well as assaults, leaving 3 dead and more fighting for their lives. The surge of violence follows what has been a relatively quiet time, but this weekend saw victims included boys as young as 15 and a police officer. Shockingly, the number of attacks happened in broad daylight. What more can you expect when you have someone in charge of a city, a mayor, like Sadiq Khan, who was on TV recently pleading his case and saying how depressed he was. Honey, we're all depressed. Get over it. You're getting paid a lot of money to do a job and you're not doing it very well. And when you have the audacity to say, well, terror attacks are to be expected in a city the size of London, they are if you let them. So, it's a concern for me. Janie says these elected officials can donate their pay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for that. Where are we? Live feed is giving me hassle tonight. Oh, de Blasio, I think, is already asking for $7 billion, Roger is saying. Chet says, we have young mothers being shot for saying all lives matter. Yeah, I saw that. That's absolutely disgusting. See the interview I posted with the police cap in NYC? No, I didn't see that. Said con man is a terrorist. I'm guessing you're talking about de Blasio. Because, yeah, he actually is. So on Wednesday of this week, Roger Stone, yes, the newly commuted Roger Stone, is going to name the 10 worst reporters in the fake news media, just 10, and outline their worst lies, omissions, and falsehoods. He says that Natasha Bertrand is now a Politico, and she's top of the list. He says she's a nasty piece of human garbage whose breath smells like this. You like this, Chet? Eric Swallowwell's ass. I think that is absolutely apt, Amy, and it fits you to a T. Now, the beta release of Apple's iOS 14 has pulled the curtain on TikTok, revealing the video sharing app is secretly reading users' clipboard contents. Now, the firm came under fire for snooping earlier this year and vowed to stop accessing devices' clipboards, but the users testing the Now operating system found that TikTok has not kept its promise. When the app accesses the clipboard on a device with iOS 14, a notification appears at the top, and a video shared on Twitter shows that TikTok was looking at the clipboard with every three strokes. Now, even when it was running in the background, this occurred too. What do you expect with an app that is Chinese and from China? Dave said these politicians should donate their pay to the Xander Gibb Show Network. Yeah, from your mouth to God's ears. Janie says, finally. I wonder if she's talking about the song. Finally, it has happened to me. New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez suggested over the weekend that the crime surge in New York City is likely because struggling residents are forced to shoplift in order to feed their children. What do you guys think about this? Isn't this excusing crime and criminality? I don't think your average person who needs to feed their kids is actually going out there and doing this in order to feed their kids. They're doing this basically because of their criminality. There are schemes out there to help people, and if people are not accessing them or can't access them in NYC, who is to blame for this? Yeah, you're absolutely right. De Blasio and the Democrats. Because if there is money available and people can't get it, then those administrating those funds are actually to blame. So we got time for some calls. If you want to call us about any of the subjects we have talked about or anything else you want to get off your chest, you can call us now on 845-363-4747. That's if you are calling from the United States. And if you're calling from the United Kingdom, you can call us on 0208-123-5274. That's 0208-123-5274 if you're calling from the United Kingdom. Dave says, AOC says a mind is a terrible thing to waste. But Black Lives Matter said no thanks when she offered them. I guess that's supposed to mean hers. Yeah, who would want her? You know, I mean, no disrespect to bartenders, but, you know, she is the pits. Now, I know there's that they're waiting for results in NYC, but I heard, I don't know how true it is, I heard she'd actually won already, which to me is a concern, because if you are re-electing an idiot bimbo like this, you know, her name should be Karen, shouldn't it? Karen Ocasio, no neocortex. It's an absolute worry for me. We have a call. It is our first call of the night. Let's see if we can connect them the first time. Hello, welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from, Chet?
Well, Mondays I have to come on. I'm sorry. It's like I have to kind of just get things off my chest at that point, Xander. So, how are you?
I am good, thank you, and I hope you're good too, because I know you had some hassle today. Are you allowed to talk about that or not?
Yeah, well, it was just some idiot that was on a morning show that I call into. There's really nothing much to say about it. I was ragging on the Black Lives Matter, and ended up somebody got kind of offended with that, and I told them where to shove it. So, what I was happy to see, though, Black Lives Matter that was painted by our wonderful mayor in front of Trump Towers. Did you see what happened to it today?
No, I didn't. Do tell.
Somebody that is a big supporter, obviously, went up to the middle of that piece of graffiti, is what I call it, and threw red paint all over it. And they were upset that this, the messed up part is, Xander, they're upset at this guy. Apparently, I'm not sure if it was a male or female. Obviously, it's somebody that didn't like that messaging being written on the road, but he did not. Really, what he did was no different from what they did. It wasn't. They didn't sanction this thing. They didn't go to City Hall to get this painted on a street.
Yeah.
They got the mayor to make a political commercial out of the damn thing,
right.
And they painted it in a New York street. And I guarantee you, probably the taxpayers paid for it, Xander.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt it. I bet de Blasio sent one of his assistants to go and buy the paint. It's
yeah.
I think it's probably that simple. But why are elected officials getting away with this kind of politicizing? And what is this ideology that it's okay to break the law if it's something that you disagree with?
Well, that's the ideology of the left. I mean, they've been doing that for the longest time. It's just kind of kicked into overdrive
right.
now. If you see what Mayor de Blasio did, he did it in front of a camera. He did it with Al Sharpton, who wouldn't be there without a camera, by the way.
No, and wouldn't be there without a fee.
Right. And, they were just making a political move and trying to embarrass the president. And that's the whole reason they did that.
Right.
And if I was President Trump, I would put on a big billboard throughout Times Square, and I'd write F. de Blasio.
Yeah.
Or I'd talk about all the failures
sure.
that man has had as a mayor, and put his real name up there too.
Yeah.
His actual name.
Yeah. I don't get this. I don't, because if you run for everyone knows that Xander Gibb is my professional name. My name is Xander, but Gibb is not my last name. And when you get a lot of death threats, which I did used to, and mostly from Republicans, I hasten to add, you don't want people to know exactly who you are. However, when you're running for public office, why do they get away with running for public office in a name that's actually not their own?
Because they're Democrats. I mean, that's why. They could. All his background, Xander, is so screwed up. The places that he went to visit as a young man in Cuba, and the celebrations of Fidel Castro. This all really has the writings on the wall of letting this mayor go and letting this governor go. But unfortunately, they just wield such power with these unions. And I know I say that a lot, but that's the frustrating part. And you know as well as I do, living in New York or any of these liberal lobbyists, is that you're going to deal with terrible leadership, crime through the roof. You're going to deal with taxes through the roof. You're barely going to be able to get by. And all the while, we're seeing murders going up at an exhausting rate. I mean, you saw that little boy that was murdered in Chicago,
Disgusting.
And then the numbers of the deaths in Chicago and New York are just going through the roof. And is anybody out there in the liberal mainstream media tying that into the fact that the police feel like they're being attacked every time they try to do their jobs.
No, because
I guarantee you they know that's why.
well, they would need to want to see it before they could actually see it. Hello to Dave, who's sending you a subliminal message. Chet, he's saying that the goats' lives matter. I'm not sure what that means, but
Yeah, that's a big movement, by the way.
Yeah, it's getting bigger by the moment. But I don't know if you share the same ideology that I do. Not about goats' lives matter, but do you think that people that even Democrats are getting more and more freaking tired of the way that the Democratic elected officials are actually behaving, not just in New York, but all over, because they're affected by this bullshit too.
Oh, well, we all know someone that turned away from the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
I told you last time when I was on with you, my sister's been a lifetime Democrat and really is the old standard of what a liberal should be.
Right.
You know, somebody that wants you to be able to have your First Amendment rights. You know, it used to be the old liberal montage was, I may not agree with your point, but I'll fight for your point. And
right.
That was what being a liberal was all about. My father was a liberal. My mother's a liberal. But guess what? My family's all behind President Trump. It is happening
right.
at a rate that people are not seeing. The mainstream media is not going to tell you. My sister voted for Obama twice. She told me she's never voting Democrat again
right.
after what she has been witnessing in this country. And they've made it very hard on your average, everyday American to feel safe and to feel like they can say what they want to say.
Yeah. To even survive. But I guess that's a great thing. And we will see, at the polls how much of a difference that's actually making. But the other thing that concerns me is, and I know this concerns you too, because we've discussed it and I've seen you share stuff about it, and that's with reference to the insistence of mail-in voting. Because if Disney World can be open, you can go and stand online with a 2-meter distance or whatever it is in America now. Why can't you go and vote online? Because if it's that important. I saw a great meme today, and it really kind of struck with me. Now, if you won the lotto this week, would you mail in your ticket, or would you go and take it in yourself, knowing the great risk that's attached with COVID? Well, if I won big, I would be there in person, frills and all, to claim my booty. However, the thing is that if you can do that, then you can go and vote, can you? It is that simplistic.
It is that simplistic because I still receive mail from my father, who's dead, and some of it's from the Democrat Party. So you can't tell me that's something that people are not going to take advantage of, because if I was a Democrat and I got that mail and I filled out my name as Frank Stoller and I sent it in, they wouldn't say a damn thing. And Xander, what's interesting, and I was kind of having a back and forth with somebody who is all on the COVID-19 train of wear your masks and we have to do mail-in ballots, and we started talking about the mom pop shops versus Target and Home Depot. And his basically his excuse was, well, we can separate them in so many ways in Target and Home Depot. And I said, I guess in Target that's where we should hold the polls.
Yeah, great idea. Because you've got to stand online to go into Target, which I believe you do. Right. Then put the voting booth in Target. That's great. That's a great idea.
I'll do it. It's fine with me. And the point back to me was, you're just trying to paint it with a broad brush. This is not what we mean. It's meant for the elderly. It's meant for the disenfranchised. It's meant for the minority community.
Yeah,
Xander,
but not for everybody.
And you know what, Xander? It's really pathetic that that's what the Democrats think of the minority community. They can't get to where they need to go to vote, and they can't get ID because they probably have felonies in their backgrounds. Yeah. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. But the fact of the matter is, they just want to be able to rig this election and rig all the elections nationwide. And don't forget, the last time around in 18, they were finding boxes of ballots in like janitors' closets.
I'm curious, Chad, and I mean this, no disrespect to your father, but have you actually been tempted to see if you can get a ballot paper in your dad's name just to test this theory? Because I would be very curious to know whether that worked. Because, they say they've stamped this out now, that you actually have to prove you're alive. Hi, Swoop, welcome to the live feed. That you're alive to get the damn ballot.
Yeah, I doubt that very much. I mean, the Democrats always give you 6 ways to Sunday on why you can do something, but they never talk about the real reasons that they're doing it.
Right.
If we're all capable, and I work during the day, I work 10-hour days. I find time to go and vote. It's not easy. I have to go there late.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I don't want to do it necessarily. But if I don't go vote, I can't complain when Mr. de Blasio is screwing up or Mr. Cuomo is screwing up in the state that I live in. And the same thing goes for all these know-nothing idiots that go out in the middle of the night and they riot and what they call protesting.
Yeah.
But if they're not showing up at the ballot box, it don't mean a thing.
Of course, and it's interesting. You never see Republicans doing this because they've all got damn jobs, and the fact that they're going and paying their taxes while they're doing their damn jobs is why they can't. Why these assholes have the privilege of going out there and doing it. But I'm glad to see. There was a lot of criticism for the president lately when he was saying about they're talking about penalizing schools for certain things. And I think that the way that the president can get the country open is by withholding funding. Because if your school is not open, why should you get government funding? If your constituency is not open, or your town or city is not open, well, you don't need the money, do you? Because you're not doing anything.
Especially when you allowed these criminals to go through the streets and destroy, and to, as the mayor in Baltimore said in 2014, give them room to destroy.
Yeah,
that's the mantra of the Democrat Party. They're always standing up for the criminals, and like with Trump letting everybody's upset about Roger Stone, Barack Obama commuted 1,700 sentences. One of them was a terrorist that fled to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And there were other terrorists in that list too that Obama pardoned. President Trump's doing what he has to do. What we have to really get behind him with is this messaging of having everybody go out to the polls.
Yes.
And we have to make sure that this voter by mail stuff doesn't happen. Because the truth of the matter is, the American people are going to pick whether President Trump gets reelected or not.
Of course.
They did in putting him in office above Hillary Clinton. And I find it very hard to believe that there's anyone out there that looks at Joe Biden drooling in front of the camera and sees him as presidential material.
Yeah. It's really funny. I'm a total bitch and I don't take any prisoners. I see some of these videos on TikTok and they're showing like when the president is giving a speech and he muddles up a word like we all do. I mean, I'm a broadcaster of 15 years or whatever, and I mess it up from time to time. So my response is, Joe Biden can't even string a sentence together, regardless of that is whether he's dementing or not. As far as I'm concerned, it's fair game. So don't come and tell me that the president makes a mistake occasionally. I think he's a very gifted speaker. I mean, he packs out stadiums. People go to these stadiums just to hear him speak. So if he makes a mistake, what it proves to me is even more that, he's human. He's one of us. If he wasn't a billionaire, he's probably the kind of guy we would go and have a beer with on a Saturday afternoon and shoot the breeze about the ball game.
You make a great point, Xander. President Trump sealed so many deals as the nation's biggest builder and basically the biggest mogul in New York. there was an interview I heard one time with somebody that worked for President Trump. He would bring in the cement for the buildings that Trump would build. He said that the president is so on time with everything, you have to make sure that you are there on time, or he'll tell you to kick rocks, and he'll pick another company. And another thing I heard about the man, when he was building these sky rises, he would go through the building area with his hard hat on, and he would go through every square inch to make sure that it was, going up as appropriated.
Right.
And that's why he's gifted in that way. And he does have the charm of talk. And second of all, our president should be out there. He's out there every single day speaking. There's not one time that he doesn't get it. There's not one day where he doesn't get in front of the mainstream media and these corrupt journalists. And Joe Biden, the last time I heard Xander, it was like 2 weeks ago since he's said anything.
From his basement.
It's ridiculous.
From his basement. But, this is the thing.
Right.
The left has nothing but cheap jibes. They've got no policies. Sorry, I just flashed the white power sign again. I must apologize for that not. I'm just flashing it 10 times more. The thing is, for me, that ultimately they have nothing else. They don't have a candidate. They don't have any policies. They don't have anything different to offer than they have the last few times when they've lost. So all they've got is cheap jibes and accusations. And I would hope that America is not so stupid to just accept that as read. Because if people aren't willing to do their own research out there, what is the point? That's why you're talking to me today. This is why I am a conservative, because I decided to do some research and stop believing everything that the media told me.
Well, and America is not off the rocker or stupid. The fact of the matter is, if the Democrats cheat, they will win. And we have to prevent that from happening. Otherwise, and I'm saying this knowing and telling all your listeners, make sure you go to the polls and bring 10 people with you if you can.
Yeah.
But knowing that President Trump would give Biden a shellacking, but the problem is we know they're going to cheat. And don't forget, in 2016 they tried to cheat, and they did. When
still lost.
When I went to vote in New York, they didn't even ask for my picture ID.
Really? See, I was surprised.
Yeah, and I told the lady, I said, "Aren't you asking for ID?" No, we don't need those.
Wow. I was surprised here. There's a voting center just up the street from where I live, and I think it's really important to vote because you can't bitch about it unless you actually vote, as far as I'm concerned. So I went to vote and took out my photo ID, and they said, "Oh, we don't need that." I'm like, so I could come and say I was Xander Gibb, and you would still let me vote whoever we would. That's another reason we need voter ID, because, I'm sure that happens. They say, "Oh, this never happens." I don't believe it. I know that it's possible. If there is even the remotest possibility that this might happen, they have to stop it, because this has to be a fair election. They lost last time and they cheated. But do you know what I think would force people to go out and vote is if they said, if you don't vote in person, your vote doesn't count. And if you try and do a mail-in vote, you'll have to sleep with Hillary. The whole country would surely. Sorry, I'm doing it again. I keep doing this thing with my hands, and it's honestly not the white power sign. So yeah, that would make a difference, But all joking aside, I think that the president needs to throw some cash at this and make sure that at each polling station there is someone that's kind of independent, because none of these people that they're getting to do it are clearly independent. Because people should be caring more about the process than who, because if I was asked to do this, if I was an invigilator, I would be more concerned about making sure that votes were cast honestly than making sure my side won. But I guess not everybody is that honest.
Well, who the hell doesn't believe that the Democrats would do anything they could to defeat this man? I mean, whatever they can do, Xander, to undercut the American people, because Donald Trump is the figurehead of the movement that we created. So the thing that they're offended so much at with Donald Trump is that the American people figured out what these scumbags were doing behind the scenes.
Right.
They figured out that this was all leading us to a one world order, a one world currency, and something, and a lot of people laugh when I say it, a new world order. And the way we stopped that from happening was electing Donald Trump to represent the Republican Party as the candidate, and then he won. You can see it in the eyes of the rhino Republicans that don't represent us, like Mitt Romney,
right,
coming out and starting these and funneling money into these PACs that are going against the elected Republican in office. It's mind-numbing that it's happening. It happened before, but we're the ones that will decide whether President Trump gets reelected or not, and they hate that.
I think it's because I switch between thinking, yeah, he's really going to do this, and then worrying about what lengths the Democrats are prepared to go to win dishonestly. But right. I do, on the whole, I think he's actually, this is why, I say this a lot, but this is why I'm staying up till 2 a.m. and later, not for my health, but to get President Donald J. Trump reelected for another 4 years, because I love America enough, even though I'm not fortunate enough to live there right now, to want to make sure that it has the best leadership possible at this time. And I wish more people would see it that way. There are people that have the luxury of living in the United States, but don't care enough to be able to make it better.
And they don't pay attention to what's really going on. And you're absolutely right. It's important that we reelect Trump because that makes the world better. It makes it better across the pond, and it makes it better in America. But
right.
They try to paint him as this evil ogre. I was watching this video. I'll try to send it to you later. It was a journalist from PBS, and she brought up some family that was out in, I believe it was Maryland, and they had contracted COVID, and she was saying that the brother had told her that it was because of President Trump, and he said he let her finish, which I was impressed with, and then he simply said to her, Xander, I wanted to ban China in December. I wanted to ban all access to our country from Europe and China in December. And in March, or rather in February, you had Nancy Pelosi in front of the cameras saying that we need to go down into Chinatown and live life like we always have. And the fact of the matter is, when he said this to this woman, she tried to backtrack. Well, the question is to this journalist in PBS, are you going to go and question Nancy Pelosi? No, you're not.
No.
Because the truth is what President Trump stated to you.
Because it doesn't fit their narrative. They only want to share things that fit their agenda. I've spent a lot of time on TikTok lately, as you can probably guess. But there are more anti-Trump videos there, and Perez Hilton is on there every day with something different. This guy's not only got Trump derangement syndrome, but I think he's being paid by the Democrats to actually, trash talk Trump. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's a celebrity, he's a Z-list celebrity. I wouldn't be surprised if him and other celebrities were paid to do this. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks of Lolita Express fame, was paid to say that he had COVID. Because I don't believe anybody, I don't support the Republicans enough to lie. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't do it,
No, and they're all pedophiles, and I bet you Perez Hilton is one too. He just has a look to me that I just don't like him. Something about him makes my skin crawl, the same as it does when I look at somebody like Tom Hanks or I look at somebody like Bill Clinton and all these disgusting, depraved individuals on the left. And they always Zan, they always try to point it back to President Trump. And the fact of the matter is, if you look into Trump's dealings with Epstein, first of all, he kicked him out of his resort.
Yeah.
They don't like talking about that. And his name is not on that flight log.
No.
Okay, there's a few pictures of him out with that man when Epstein was this darling of New York. President Trump was everywhere.
Well, of course.
He knew to a lot of bad people.
Yeah, I'm sure there are pictures of me, well, not with Epstein, but, I used to go to a lot of parties, and I'm sure there, I always open for a photo opportunity, because you just never know who you're going to get, who you're going to get seen with. So I'm sure, that is possibly the case, probably the case with Donald Trump. But you know what? Like you said, that guy kept immaculate records. If Donald Trump had been on that flight manifesto, I might have said, well, that's a bit of a worry that he was there. I mean, say what you like about Donald Trump, but I definitely don't think he was involved with that. And we know that certain Democrats were. I mean, it's even been alleged that what's his name, Sleepy Joe Biden was involved too. So the truth will out.
The matter is when Epstein was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago, it was because Epstein was flirting with a 15-year-old girl that was there with her father.
Wow.
And as soon as President Trump heard about it, he made sure that he was kicked out, first of all, in front of everyone, and told, don't you dare come back. Now, that's what President Trump did when he heard about this. If President Trump was some scumbag, he would have pulled him to the side and said, Jeff, just calm down a little while you're here.
Yeah.
No big deal. No, he banned him for life.
Quite right, too.
Just like he would do to anybody else that's trying to do something like that to a little girl. President Trump isn't like that. He never has been.
Absolutely. But it goes back to, what I was saying earlier, is that the left has nothing now but to do these smears. I actually saw someone saying the other day, oh, well, President Trump said he loves his daughter. Well, I love my nieces and nephews, but I would hope that, you've got to have a sick mind to read something into that. Do you know what I mean? This is all they have.
And these are the same people that didn't say anything when that scumbag was saying to put President Trump's son in a cage with pedophiles.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
They show themselves all the time. They're anti-American. They hate the movement that we've created, and they hate the president. They're going to do anything they can do, Xander. But let me just ask everybody out there listening one question. If President Trump was sexually harassing a bunch of women like they were trying to say when he was running against Hillary, don't you think Hillary would have brought that up countless times?
Of course.
She never brought it up once.
Exactly.
She didn't bring it up once.
Sorry.
And he brought 5 women to that debate in order to point out what a disgusting person Hillary and Bill
Exactly. Are. We got to leave it there. I'm sorry. We could always go on for longer, but thank you so much for your call. Chet Martin, anchor from Freedom on Deck. The show goes up Sundays 3 to 5 Eastern on News Now and Stimulating Talk.
94.9 WJJF.
WJJF forever. Thanks a lot, Chet. I'll speak to you soon, brother. Take care. That was Chet Martin. Make sure you check him out. freedomondeck.com and Freedom on Deck on Facebook. So my next guest, is the host of Go Right News, and will be calling us from the USA any moment now. His name is Peter Boykin, and we'll be breaking down today a couple of today's hottest topics. I hate my teleprompter. I need a new one. They are so expensive. So yes, my guest is going to call in very soon. Let's have a quick look in the... Here we go. This should be him calling right now. So please join me in welcoming back to the show, Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Welcome back to the show, Peter. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going good. And I think, I don't know, it just feels like things have changed a little this week politically. Does it feel like that for you too?
Yeah, there's a lot been going on this week. Honestly, yeah. I mean, for me, I've been having to cover a story of
of a date for Trump individual who was murdered. And I just spoke to Senator Jensen this week, today, about how they were trying to cancel culture him.
Wow. So was it? So do you want to give us a quick synopsis of what happened? Was he actually killed for his support of Donald Trump?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, the verdict's out. I've been communicating with his brother, and his father did reach out. There is an open police investigation right now. Of course, leftists are already quick to try to pull out their cards where they want to say, oh, they're looking at history of like 2 years ago. He might have been involved with some sort of charge. And they can't confirm that. And the information that I gave out originally, I couldn't confirm anything because, honestly, the only thing I could do is confirm what I had, information-wise. And so what apparently had happened is his father just confirmed that, yes, he was wearing a MAGA hat. I don't know. I'm getting up.
Wow.
I am. Give me just a moment. I'm going to have to call you right back. I apologize.
Okay.
All right.
So I guess Peter is having. Are you still there? I guess Peter is having some phone problems, and will call us back in a second. Janie's saying follow the money. Dave is saying well done, Chet. And I'm just chopped liver. Janie's saying Chet is the man. Chet says President Trump is the thorn in the progress Democrats side. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the worry here is that that they're desperate now. You know, the Democrats really do smell like desperation, and I think they're going to do anything in order to win. I don't have to sing to you at all. I mean, I can, but trouble is, can't sing with music because YouTube kind of messes you up for that. I'll sing you a quick burst of the Star Spangled Banner before he comes back. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight all the ramparts we watched were so valiantly streaming. There you go. Janie says Zan is the gay man. No secret there, Janie. Carla says desperate people will do anything. And Russ says the Dems are gonna lose. I'm hoping our guest is gonna call back very soon. Very rude to just kind of skip out on us like that. Patriotic Americans should all be able to sing that song. I'm actually thinking of putting a version of that on my new album that will hopefully be out this year. Can you believe we're just 5 months away from Christmas? Am I allowed to say that? 5 months away, August, September, October, November, December. But I guess our main celebration this year is going to be in November when we win, when President Donald Trump wins the election in the United States of America. Imagine Hendrix backing me up, Russ. That would be amazing. I would really love that, except I'd have to dig him up first. So I don't know what's happened with our guest. I'm just gonna kind of carry on as best possible. So So how patriotic are you guys out there? Do you all know all of the words to the national anthem, to the Star Spangled Banner, and America the Beautiful? I kind of think these were drilled and drummed into me from a very early age. And as a singer, you kind of never know when it's going to be called upon you. I actually think we should lobby President Trump to fly me in to sing the national anthem at his inauguration. Do you remember the artist that refused to sing at his inauguration? I would be so honored to sing at the president's inauguration. I'm hoping our guest is going to call us back any minutes, but if he doesn't, we're going to kind of knock that on the head. That's kind of very rude to do this. Let's have a look at your comments. Look at the new comments. Where are we? Carla says she knows them both. Gina says, thank you, Xander. You sing so well. That's a hard song to sing. Yeah, it's very hard without music. So let's get started on that. Xander to sing at the inauguration. We will try that. So I don't know if any of you know that I was back on Twitter for a while. I don't think it will be a totally MAGA album, but there will be some MAGA stuff on it. Yeah, I think lost what I was saying. Oh yeah, Twitter. I was on Twitter, but they've suspended me again. I don't know what I've done wrong. I don't know what I said that was wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but they're not letting me back in, so I guess I'm just gonna have to make another account. Ruststone says is asking why they're targeting Churchill now, because they're saying Churchill was racist and the Churchill was a slave owner, but actually Churchill went a long way towards getting rid of slavery. So it's kind of folly. No, I don't think they trashed the Churchill statue. I think what they did is they've boxed it in so that they can't trash it. Because the problem is in the UK, a lot of these local authorities are turning a blind eye, just like in the United States, to the statue removal. One was thrown into the river the other day. I can't even think who it was. But the Tate Modern in London, which is one of the most famous museums, art galleries in the world, is now going to have to change its name because the guy Tate from Tate and Lyle Sugar was apparently a slave owner. But here's the thing. I'm tired of this ideology that, if your ancestors owned slaves, then you're bad, or anybody that owned slaves that were bad. Yes, slavery was absolutely terrible, but at the time it was the done thing, and I'm not saying it makes it right. So let's either stop it now, or we'll start to turn it back on you, and actually get these things changed, the things that you're not gonna like. I mean, as I said, don't be changing my White Castle just because it has the word white in the in the name, or Cracker Barrel, which is the next things that they're gonna do, which is a concern. Janie says they even trashed Jimi Hendrix. I didn't see that. That's worrying. Apparently they want America renamed because obviously America, for those of us that studied history in school, was named after Amerigo Vespucci. You see, I wasn't stoned every time I went to school, just occasionally. Just when I was in Mr. Demford's class. I'm saying that because he watches the show. So yeah. Janie Carla says, I think I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan's too. Saw his what is the question. Janie says 6 million Jews died and were in bondage for 400 years. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that we either draw a line under it all, or we kind of continue in this vein of destroying everything that's gone before. But let's face it. When you start to, I was thinking about this the other day, it's a bit like time travel. When you go back in time and you start changing things, doesn't that start to erase our present? Chet says Cracker Barrel has a bomb-ass chicken fried steak. Oh, I love chicken fried steak. I miss, not that I will be going there again, but I miss Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A. The statue vandalized. I get you, Carla. Dave said some lady raged in a church town with Antifa crap on Black Lives Matter crap. The local sheriff found her and arrested her last night, in part thanks to a new security camera system they installed a few days ago. Yes, Big Brother in action and actually doing its job. Oh, chicken and dumplings. Don't! You're making me hungry. I'm still on my keto diet, in case any of you were wondering. And during the lockdown, I still lost weight, but I was a bit remiss, like a lot of us were. And I'm on my week 2 of Lucy Wyndham Reed exercises. And they're all kind of, as you know, I'm a wheelchair user, so they're all kind of chair-based exercises. And you can do like 4.5 minutes. And I do that times 2, but sometimes I don't get all the way through the second go around. But it's very simple exercises like arm lifts and this, like swimming and stuff. So go check out Lucy Wyndham Reed if you want to start to do a bit of exercise out there. Chet says the left is extremely anti-Semitic and they never get called out for it. Yeah, isn't that interesting that, what's her name? Linda Sarsour is now kind of, all this time she says she loves the gays and the Jews. And now she's kind of honing in and saying things like, Israel needs to be a 2-state and all of this. BS. You don't live there, but so mind your own business. I am so sick of people like Linda Sarsour, but obviously she's getting funded by Bill the Dill, D. Blazadia. Janie says, I have a great keto steak recipe. Ask me and I will give it to you. Thank you. I will check that out from you later. I don't know what's happened to our guest. I hope he's okay, but obviously it's very rude and doesn't bode well for him appearing again. I can eat steak actually on this keto diet. Like when I go out for lunch, the local restaurant that I go, you can get a steak and get a second one for $5. So I usually have that with like a fried egg on the top and some bacon, and that's all within the realms of keto possibility. Jet says, I think the guest got caught on the phone by his liberal wife and had to hang up. I heard a shrilling woman in the background. I think maybe he was on his phone while driving and got caught by the cops. Oh yeah, he just messaged me and said he was pulled over by a cop. So I was right. It wasn't his wife because actually he's gay. He's a gay Republican. So that ain't happening now because he's basically he's shut down. Well, I guess that will teach you not to get pulled over by the cops. I'm going to talk very quickly about one of the stories I was going to talk with Peter about. Because while we were on the air on Friday night, we heard that President Trump had quite rightly commuted Roger Stone's sentence that would have required him to surrender to jail tomorrow. Now, whilst it was expected that Judge Amy Berman Jackson would be unhappy, Robert Mueller, the former special prosecutor, publicly defended his 2-year Trump-Russia collusion allegations during the 2016 election recently and castigated Donald Trump's decision to commute Roger Stone's prison sentence. In a WAPO opinion piece entitled, Roger Stone Remains a Convicted Felon and Rightly So, he said the work of the special counsel's office, its report, its indictments, guilty pleas, and convictions should speak for itself, he wrote. But I feel compelled to respond both to broad claims that our investigation was illegitimate and our motives were improper, and the specific claims that Roger was a victim of our office. Stone was prosecuted and convicted because he committed federal crimes. He remains a convicted felon, and rightly so. Bitter liberals are so damn testy. So I have a little message for you, Robert Mueller, and here it goes. That's my message to you, Robert Mueller. You're bitter because your campaign to destroy Donald Trump on behalf of the liberals did not work. and now you're pissed that all of the work that the left has done to try and destroy us is becoming apparent. Chet says something about a sweet tooth. Where are we? Just going backwards. Chet says, tell him to put on blackface and claim the police got him in a chokehold. Yeah, that might get him off. He just messaged me, but it's too late to get him back on. Yeah, exactly. Who drives while doing an interview? I agree with that, Chet. Dave says, so has Mueller said anything about Stone? Yeah, what I just said. He said that Mueller is a criminal and will forever be a criminal and a convicted felon. But I'm hoping that he will get a pardon after the election in November. Carlos said, yes, he did an op-ed. Yep, that's what I was just talking about. Russ says, I can't stand those liberal Dems. Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple that are okay, but very few. Chet says, Robert Mueller is a crooked cop, one of the absolute worst men on the planet. And I would tend to agree with that too. We're going to leave it there. I'm sorry we didn't get to have our guest today, but that will probably teach him for being on the phone while driving, while being in the company of the inimitable Xander Gibb, because that is not the done thing to do. How helicopter? No. So I think that's it for today's show. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to my brother Chet from Freedom on Deck for calling in. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. It's always great to shoot the breeze with you. Russ says, bring back blue dog Democrats. Absolutely. Chet says, I've never even thought about doing that. The mind boggles as to what that is. If you haven't clicked the share button, please do so. If you haven't clicked like on the Xander Gibb show, go and do that right after. And share this to all of the liberal pages because we do like to piss them off. We're done. We're out of here. So now had your fill of the Gibster. You can catch me 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 10 in Australia. Join us tomorrow for more scintillating chat when Tony Lasacco will be dropping by. Thanks for watching. Do stay safe out there. I have been Xander Gibb, because who else would I be? And I really do love you all. I do. Bye-bye.
To me this time around, things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes,